NBC Sports presents NCAA College Football. Today, a matchup between the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Iowa State Cyclones. Hayden Fry has taken Iowa to 2 consecutive bowl games for the first time in Hawkeye history. Eddie Phillips, the leading ball carrier, returning from the Big Ten Conference. He'll be a tailback. A new football package at Iowa State with new coach Jim Kreiner. Features senior quarterback David Archer, who threw for nearly 1,500 yards last season. The rain has stopped. The big sellout crowd is now moving in, and we're just about ready for football here at Ames, Iowa. NCAA College Football is sponsored by Chevrolet. Chevrolet is taking charge. By Apple Computer, makers of the versatile Apple IIe, Apple III, and Lisa, the personal computer for the office. And by Texaco, who also brings you quality automotive products that you can trust. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kurt Gowdy, along with Lee Groscup, visiting with the two coaches yesterday. Hey, we want to win the game, but what really counts to us is our conference season. We want to be good later on. Don't let them kid you. When you play in the same state against another school and you lose, you hear about it all year from the fans and alumni. And Hayden Fry has it in his craw, Lee, that he's been beaten by Iowa State 3 years in a row. And by the way, he'll be heavily favored here today.
Hayden Fry, of course, is a master of understatement, Kurt, but you know that he wants to win this football game today. And Jim Kreiner is going to really have his hands full as a new coach trying to pull an upset today because they are a decided underdog. Hayden Fry, of course, is long known as one of college football's great innovators, but underneath that facade, I think, is a man who is a true fundamentalist. He will tell you that defense and the kicking game are what win for you. Now, Jim Kreiner, conversely, is a guy who believes in the concept of a ball control passing offense, but also, like Hayden Fry, he feels that you have to play defense and have a good kicking game in order to win.
There are always a lot of questions at an opening game, but I don't believe there's a question about the quarterbacks each team has. They're both experienced, they're stable, and they can do it.
Well, David Archer on the left is one of the better all-purpose quarterbacks in the Big Eight this year. He can throw the ball and he can run just about equally well. He also executes the option play very effectively, and I think he is going to fit in very nicely in the new offensive schemes of Coach Jim Kreiner. Now, Chuck Long is the most accurate passer returning to the Big Ten. If you count the Peach Bowl last year, he threw better than 65%. He has the size you like. He's 6'4", 200 pounds, and he can also be effective as a running quarterback.
I think the two best athletes on the field will be in the linebacking position.
Well, if you're talking...
Here come the Hawkeyes, by the way.
You're talking about Washington and Station, and they are two of the best. Chris Washington is the leading tackler in the Big Eight last year with 98 solo tackles. And Larry Station is a man who was a freshman All-American last season. He was the team's leading tackler, Kurt, despite the fact that he only played as a starter in about half the season. And I think sincerely that he has the potential to be one of the great defensive players in Iowa history.
This series goes back to 1894. It was interrupted for 43 years, then resumed. Iowa State has been dominating in recent years. They've won the last 3, so you have the Iowa Hawkeyes in here for some deep revenge today. The Hawkeyes are on the field. They're meeting at the 50-yard line. We're waiting for Iowa State, and while they come on out, we will be back for the opening kickoff right after this message here from the Iowa State Stadium in Ames, Iowa. Coming through. It's cooler than yesterday. It was a better day for football. Granger again looks for the first down. He's away at the 45 to 40. And down he goes at the 39. Norm Granger brought down by the safety man, George Walker. He nearly broke that one, Lee. 65% last year, leading efficiency in the Big Ten. He'll throw on 3rd and 6. They set up a screen to give it to Granger at the 20, the 15, the 10. He may go, and Granger's in for the touchdown. on the screen. They let him come through. Perfect timing on it. And Granger goes 24 yards. John Relk, the guard, number 66, through the key block. And Iowa looked awesome on that opening drive. Obvious passing down on 3rd and 11. They got a big rush on him. They got him. Number 64, Paul Hufford, hit him from Mount Vernon, Iowa. He had a clear path to him, and he just didn't waste any time. Ronnie Harmon to the left. Dave Morris to the right. Off the eye. Long will throw it. Long on the swing. Out at the 45, to the 40, 35, and down at the 31 is the tailback, Eddie Phillips, an excellent receiver coming out of the backfield.
That was an important defensive play for the Cyclones, because now if they can hold them here, they could get the ball back and maybe develop something. Had Iowa gone down there and scored a second touchdown, it might have really turned the momentum too drastically in their direction.
The kicking game is the question mark of Iowa this year. They lost their nation's leading punter, Reggie Roby. Here's a 42-yard attempt, and that kick is good. He's got it. 42 yards by Tom Nickel. It didn't look pretty, but it was between the goalposts. So Iowa now, with 5:07 to go in the first period, leads Iowa State by a score of 10-0. There's the man that just kicked the 42-yard field goal, Tom Nickel. 2nd and 4. That's the tailback, Gill. He is over the 25 to the 20. He may go. He does. Owen Gill scores, and Iowa leads 16-0. Owen Gill going 31 yards. John Relic again through the key block. And their slot right formation. Now Davis leaves the backfield. Here's a quick one over the head, a little high to Robbie Minor in the slot, and he knows it. Archer said, "I had him wide open,"
and it's intercepted.
That's right. It glanced off, picked off by number 21. Iowa has the ball. They're on their own 28-yard line in the I formation. Chuck Long, a double fake, shoots it down the middle. Granger has it. Granger into Iowa State territory to the 45. George Walker had to tackle him there. And Norm Granger's having a field day here in the first half. On the State 35 for another first down. Long going to the air. He's going deep to Harmon, and a great catch down there. Ronnie Harmon has it from Laurelton, New York, right in front of Kevin Williams.
But it's really those blockers up front that make the difference.
There goes Gill. He scores. Owen Gill has his second touchdown of the game, as he drives over from 2 yards out. And Iowa now has 23 on the board. We'll be back with more action at Ames, Iowa. It's now Iowa 24, Iowa State nothing. Defense and the linebackers are back, but it was the front three, the middle of that defensive line, they were concerned about. 3rd down and 5. Look out, he's decked there by, who's on him there? Strobel. 3rd down, 9 for a touchdown. Iowa State on the Iowa 9-yard line. They got him. The sack by Strobel. Monday night, ABC features San Diego, Kansas City. Kansas City beat Seattle to spoil Chuck Knox's debut as the Seattle coach. Now watch that San Diego game against the Jets. Down 10 for the Iowa Hawkeyes. They'll play Penn State next week. Everybody was calling that one of the most difficult games in their schedule. Penn State, if you hadn't heard, was beaten by Cincinnati today, 14-3. Rogan breaking away, 40-35, has a first down to the 30-yard line. Brought down the play of the first half. 24-3 Iowa. Coming through is Owen Gill at the 20, at the 15, he's breaking away, he's at the 5, and he is just short there at the 1. Goal to go Iowa, and there goes Gill, he's over. Owen Gill has his 3rd touchdown of the game. on that dive. Just straight diving ahead won't get it done as well as that shoulder twist. The kick is up by Tom Nickel. He's been perfect today. And now, with 32 seconds remaining in the half, it's 31-3 Iowa over Iowa State. Look out, you Big Ten opponents, look out. 31-3 Iowa. Archer on a quick toss to the tailback up to the 23. Tommy Davis. And he's hit there by Howard Peterson, the nose guard. They have a fumble. Evidently they did down at the bottom of that pile, and Iowa has the ball. Now it's third down. About 3 to go. Iowa on the Iowa State 14. Option play coming up. There he goes again, rolling inside the 10 to the 5. Owen Gill, who's already scored 3 touchdowns in this game. Sent it sort of there he goes in motion, sent it. And here's the sneak over by the quarterback, Chuck Long. They just wedged it out for him, and Chuck Long, the quarterback, carries it in. Grogan will spot it for Tom Nickel. Nickel's up again. It wobbles through. Or he did it. No, it's no good, they say. Now, went to the left. He's been kicking those wobbly field goals and points and getting them through. That's the first one he's missed. We'll be back with a score now. Iowa 37, Iowa State 3. Just a laugher for Chuck Long. He and Hayden Fry were exchanging a conversation down there. Both of them were laughing. I guess you'd laugh too with a 37-3 lead. Long sidearm toss. It's complete. The first down now on the Iowa State 37. The give goes to McCarty. Spills through. He comes over the 20. And he's down to the 15 on the quick opener. George Walker had to tackle him in a deep Iowa State secondary. This is Kurt Gowdy with Lee Groscup. And there's Hayden Fry, the Iowa coach. Very loose and relaxed right now. His team ahead 37-3 as we begin the fourth quarter. They have a third down and 9 from the 14-yard line of Iowa State. Chuck Long's pass deflected. And is it caught by Moritz?
It is. Moritz caught that ball after it was deflected. And that shows some of his alertness. He has a real nose for that football, Kurt.
Yeah, he nearly lost it. There goes Gill. 4 touchdowns. Owen Gill has tied an Iowa record of 4 touchdowns in a game.
Larry Lawrence and Dennis Mosley are the other 2 players who have scored that many in a single game.
And the kick by Tom Nickel is good. Iowa pouring it on, maybe not deliberately, but just putting players in there performing. The score, Iowa 44, Iowa State 3. As we were saying. Legendary Niall Kinnick, 1939 at Iowa.
Great name.
The Iron Man. There's a fumble. Iowa has the ball. How many times have you seen that happen? New quarterback, first exchange, mess up. Iowa recovers. The third turnover by Iowa State. And that was wrapped up by Dave Chambers. Hayden Fry's made it up with a vengeance today, and don't believe that he didn't want to win this when he sort of downgraded the game. There's the keeper by Allen Hood. Fumble. And Iowa has the ball. And that's Dave Chambers on it, number 8. Dave Chambers recovers. Here he's coming off, number 8. 4th turnover by Iowa State. Jackson again, and Jackson is over for the touchdown. Trey Jackson scoring. Oh, he's happy. Iowa was placed in the top 20 in all those polls. There's a kick up by Nicholas Good. Those preseason polls, some of them ranked him 16th. I think after today, you'll see Iowa in the top 10 next week, for sure. 51-3 Iowa, and we'll be back. Shows the game is over. That's it, the final score. Iowa ends a 3-game Iowa State winning streak against the Hawkeyes Iowa 51, Iowa State 10. We'll be back for the wrap-up here at Ames, Iowa, as both clubs go off. Final again, 51-10. A veteran Iowa team, skilled in many departments, had just too many weapons today for an inexperienced young Iowa State team, and Iowa rolls to a 51-10 victory. They led at halftime 31-3. They dominated the entire game. Stay tuned now for the Prudential College scoreboard to bring you up to date on all of today's games from around the nation. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies to Hong Kong from more top business centers with 3 Class Royal Pacific service. This, from Ames, Iowa, has been a presentation of ABC Sports.